All right. Okay, here we are. And today we're just continuing progress on this white armor. Continuing the dark lining and edge highlighting dance that we've been doing here on the shoulder pad. This rear corner, this L shape here, is looking pretty good to me. A lot of back and forth there, but the drawback, it's starting to show me that this little region here needs some work, and then the whole front portion. So let's get some paint and get rocking. Might also start on his face today. Get the majority of these aspects filled in now. Sentinel and Torn, hi. Dang, could not do one at a time. QQ. Could not do one at a time. How are you this morning? Just pulling up the dashboard right quick. Doing good. Enjoy that bits tag there. Sadly, we might need to adjust a couple things here. If you've been working on anything cool, run some Gargants. Just found a cockatrice to work on. That's fun. Cockatrice. That's a big chicken, right? Yeah, we got to clean up. You can see this. What looks like a little oil spill here. That's no good. It's crazy how when you're working with grays, some can just blow things out so quick. Right there, just bump the red. It's pretty cool. You're just grabbing a little bit of a highlight color here. We're gonna try and... Aw, Inks the Kitsune. Good morning with the hugs and the big old subscription. How are you on this Thursday? Let's see if toning this down a little. Maybe a little too much. Hang on. Sentinel says, chicken with a snake tail and a poison tip to the tail. Oh, well, that's not where you want to be. Inks just got in some Batman stuff, so that's a good thing. Yeah, it's pretty fun. What stuff came in for you, Inks? Just trying to tidy this up. White is such a interesting color that it's hard to manipulate too much, so we don't have a whole lot of opportunity here before I have to like tone it back and make it darker. He says the Teen Titans Crew box and the Doom Patrol Doom box both came in. That's really cool. I was always a fan of the Teen Titans, the cartoons when I was younger. Should have probably kept up with them. Noreen, thank you so much for that follow, making that corgi wiggle. Welcome on in. Sentinel says it's made of resin, so I have to fix things like the feet. Okay. Resin. Who makes it? I don't know anybody making resin D&D stuff. They're usually the plastic bones stuff. That PVA or PVC. Ooh, white scars. Yeah, hello, good morning. Have a look. Got a lot of tidying up to do, but we kind of got everything filled in here. Once I get this shoulder pad in a good state, we're gonna work on these skulls up here. Maybe start on the face. Yeah, we're gonna start on his head here soon. It has to happen. And then tidy up these aspects here. Warped Path, good morning from good old semi-quarantine Germany. That's where we are here in the US. No doubt. And to top it all off, it's starting to get just nice enough out and my allergies are being real rude. But such is life. Reem says it's 1938 in Brisbane. Oh, it is 5:39 a.m. here in the East Coast, U.S. For what that's worth. Probably get a little more paint out here. No. No, you do not want to sneeze when painting detail. That is true. What's this? Let's get paint on this. Down here. Alright, and then we gotta tone this back. Get a little shadow tone here. Warped Path says, don't mention it. It's 22 degrees Celsius. Not to confuse the Fahrenheit users, and my eyes start itching as soon as I walk outside. Nureem says, unless it's Nurgle, it may add some natural detail. That's a good point. I think a lot of times people get too dialed in on perfection with their miniatures. You know, if you ever go look at the old masters in their art, they tend to be painted. They tend to look painted. It's just so popular in our community to see things that are blended to perfection that you drill in too much on it, I think. Yeah, this shoulder pad's looking pretty smooth now. Sadly, it bums me out because the white just blows out the camera. I need to get a yellow tone, and I need to find an off-white. I want to paint the ropes on his chest. I also want to tidy up these the White Scars signet. And to do that, we're going to need a little off-white. Ink says, I'm still not happy with my Catwoman's face. What's going on with the face, Inks? Have a look at that, if you like. I think we need to start a donation goal for paint rack. At least get some of this going. I've got too many paints on hand. Ink says the eyes look wrong. Let me have a look here. Then we'll get painting on these details. Oh, inside the mask. I like the purple you used on her suit. Inks, if you want to DM me that picture on Discord so I can see it in a bit higher res, I can try to come up with some options. Something we can do. Where were we? Yeah. It's becoming very apparent that I just don't have enough paint out. Warpath says, I'm still getting mad at my commission piece because of the huge quantity of deep gaps that I have to fill. This Chinese kit from games may look awesome, but it's a hell of a lot of work to bring them to that point. What game again? Games Workshop. Oh, sorry, Centol. It was part of their Failcast. Okay. Yeah, for a while, those Games Workshop minis were a little rough. I've been considering doing some YouTube videos lately. I've been doing different polls for people, asking like what they'd like to see more of. And one of the things I wanted to do was a little bit on like model prep and gap filling. What have you been using to fill in the gaps? Out of curiosity. I don't necessarily know what everybody likes to use. Excuse me. Thank you, Inks. Yeah, I'll have to have a... I'll try to pull that up, and then here in a few minutes I want to start on his face. I got his head here. We're going to... Actually, let's start that sooner than later, because I need to get it primed. And then we'll get these skulls where they want to be. Super spooky. Blood Angel Nash, what up, what up? Enjoying those emotes? WordPass says, is it okay to share the link of a company so you can see the miniature? Sure, absolutely. We're all about the hobby links in here, and if you want to share up your progress on that while you're at it, please do. Still need to find that off-white. I want my Menoth white base is the thing. I can see all the off-whites in the countryside right now, but not the one that I want. That's the worst though, when you have something in mind and then you realize you're using it to hold down your parchment paper so it doesn't crinkle on you. That's the way it goes. Okay, what we got here? Easter double sale. Double. Well, that thing is wicked looking. Okay. It's either my customer doesn't want me to show any progress on social media. Alright. I'm just trying to fill in some of these different aspects of the model here. I'm just getting to the point where I want to refine the white armor and fill in some of these aspects and like start detailing, but I struggle to detail things when I don't have a more full picture. Like I can do one or two aspects, but only to a certain point, and then I lose the vision. But I'll obsess over like tiny mistakes that if I just filled in the other portions of the model, they kind of disappear in the, like if I'm obsessing over something not being right in the skin tone or something perhaps being a little bit off on like a highlight, I'll just try to ignore it for a little bit, paint some more of the model, and then when I come back it's like I struggle to find that mistake again. It's because what was causing it to look maybe out of place is gone or corrected by having a more complete picture. Nash says, how are you, Maddie? Let me make sure I didn't miss anything from Nash. Okay. Warped says, it's like 70 parts of resin, all warped, nothing fits together, and the instructions are not easy to understand. Yeah. That sounds awkward and terrible. Let's see here. Get this tidied up. Yeah, I think for sure this is going to take 2 coats, maybe 3. Try to bring out those aspects there. Koraim, nope, I'm going to get this name right. Norheim? Please correct me where I'm saying your name wrong. It says you will need a lot of green stuff and sculpting tools. That's probably true. I like Milliput and Aves Epoxy Sculpt. The only problem with Milliput is whatever it's made out of, some people could have a reaction to it. But Aves is pretty safe. What color do we want to do these little laurel pieces? I don't know. Let me get some of these other models out of the road here. Nahim. Nurhim. Hopefully that's correctly. Nope. Maybe I'm just a big dumb Western Pennsylvania boy and I just can't do it. Warpath says, Narheim, I know already ordered a new package of Milliput and new super glue. Tried to dry fit the parts, softening them in hot water. You're doing the right things. Sometimes you get a bear of a model. It's just going to be the way it is. Yeah, people tend to find their own way when it comes to things like that. Narheim, yep, sometimes I mix Milliput with green stuff, varying the ratios depending on what I use it for. Oh my. Getting creative out there. Alright, let's try to fix these yellow pieces here. And then we're going to work on a face, and inks, hopefully it's something helpful for you while we're at it. Pretty happy with the yellow up here, to be honest. I think we have that pretty well focused out. I'm going to try to correct one piece, and it's this dark line along this side of the shoulder as I'm seeing it. Anybody in here that's in here regularly knows I don't really water down my paints unless I'm glazing something. And here, when I dark line, I absolutely add a little bit to it. So because this is white, I'm going to be going very gently here. And if things go wrong, somebody call for help. Very gently. Inks says, did you notice I became a patron? Inks! Did you do it while I was asleep? Patreon is not like Twitch with the notifications. I have acquired a 7th patron, a super patron, Inks the Kitsune. Look out. Inks, are you in my Discord? I don't know that I've seen you in there. Okay. I had a couple people that didn't get their emails, and I felt bad about it. And then I was thinking about it, and maybe we just haven't chatted in a little while. I was like, oh man, I haven't talked to Inks in a while, and I mean, you and I have conversations in so many different Discords. I was trying not to neglect it, you know. I don't have it up in just because it's only for the subscribers. I kick out the invite differently, but I'll send you one directly if you need a link. Warpath says, yeah, I showed him the pictures and explained that it would be impossible for the budget he has to build the figure 100% correctly, as the building process already took me 3 times longer than anticipated, and he's okay with me doing the gaps. I think you want to be okay with that work getting done. I did some Gloomhaven models a while back. If you can see it on my Instagram, I kept all the stories together just for my records. But I told the client straight up, I was like, we can't do my top tier. Like, it's not fair to you to pay me that kind of money. We got to take that quality out of the equation. You need to put that in your mind, because these models are not as well crafted as some of these other ones. And I don't want to land an unrealistic expectation, you know. We're in that devil's in the detail portion of the paint job. I need to start have my Instagram locked down tighter than a military institution, and so I just don't have it on my desktop here. Can you Rahim? There we are. Rocking that mask. Look out. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that cat. Love a fat cat. We have cats out here. Yeah, and Warped, it's just important to be upfront about things like that when you're hitting an issue or you're finding something that maybe even the client wasn't aware of when it comes to their product. Just that open line of communication is oftentimes worth more than anything else here. WordPass says to Nareem, looking good. Got you a new follower. There you go. Dimsy says, hi all, welcome on in. How are you today? Yeah, everybody shouting out. A little bit of love. That's good. Not to ruin this buckle, but we're going to try to do the dark lining here. This is one of those stages that's just thankless, but super critically important. Brings everything into focus. Once I can get these lines drawn here, we'll prime up the face on Yep, I need Discord. I got you, Inks. I will hook you up. Don't you sweat that at all. If any of our other subscribers want in on this, let me know if you didn't get your invite. Before I do the red trim, we're gonna try, oh my, I should have worn my glasses this morning. Nareem says, yeah, it's tricky sometimes. The sculpt impacts the final result a bit, and that could impact the future commissions. It's true, and like I say, I think it's the communication that brings all that together. Especially if the client ordered a piece directly into you. Like, when I painted those Gloomhaven models, I'm sure some people weren't the biggest fans of the work that I did on them, because they are rough. Like, it is what it is. The plastic they used is super soft, no crisp details, things of that nature. But the client was happy with them, and other artists that have had to work on the Gloomhaven models were like, because they know what it was. They know what it's like to deal with them. And, you know, for me, that's enough. But I straight up, I had to reach out and let them know. I'm like, we gotta, overall, this commission is going to cost you less. Because it just, there was no way I could do the kind of detail that I would normally even talk about. Just like take this off the menu. Let's continue to detail things. Oh no, we gotta see inks. I'll get lost in that all day. We got I get too distracted. Warped Path says, yeah, it's important to me too. I was happy that I was that honest, because it literally no clue about the work involved with the hobby in general. Yeah, that's good. It's a good thing. Narheem says, but if you pull it off with a difficult sculpt, it's awesome too. That is also true. Dimsey, sorry. Doing okay, working from home equals catching up on a painting backlog. And Narheem says, I am going to do a backlog inventory on Sunday, I think. I love this Stynylrez, but this is one of their bad batch. I hit it with the quotes. It separates real bad. But it's really good. Gotta give it a little extra love. Don't do it, it's a trap. That's funny. Hmm. 2 seconds. Don't mind this. I'm just gonna grab my drill real quick. Did grab the drill real quick, but I don't know where the drill bit is. It matches the rod that we're going to use, you know. Maybe this is happening a little bit differently. Let's try something different. Let's see if we can get it this way. Let us see. What are the odds this thing doesn't shoot off across the darn room? Oh, that's a pretty good bite. Let's see what we can do. We're gonna see what's what. Narheem says, gotta go, peeps. I hope you guys keep the are keeping safe and sane. That mini's looking great so far, Nomadic. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much. It's always great to have some conversation. And you have a good day. Thanks for swinging on through. Alright. Well, he's got a pretty egregious mold line here. Hanks, why didn't you warn me? Egregious and right across his bald dome. Oh no. Oh no. Mold lines. The devil. Alright. Okay. Let's start with some of this primer. I think I could have had more water in my brush. That's alright though. We'll give him a nice thin coat here. And we'll get him with another proper one without all this dilution. Or perhaps I just didn't shake it up enough. Maybe that's on me. We'll find out soon enough. And then maybe we can come up with some ideas for how to paint some eyes on something super tiny for the benefit of inks. The Kitsune. Warped Path says, just having a look around, I could see several boxes of Necromunda, gangs not even built, several thousands points of Sons of Horus, 2 Blackstone Fortress boxes, a Hero Quest game. I wish I could have got a copy of Blackstone Fortress. That would have been nice to own. It was just a little out of my budget when it was available, and I just didn't happen. Alright, while we're letting that dry, let's see. Maybe we'll work some on these skulls while we're waiting. Alright. Just further bringing in this screaming skull. Bringing it down these ridges. Light would hit. I think the biggest thing with skulls is the spooky contrast. Like, you want them to kind of look a bit evil. Like, it shouldn't be a friendly skull, right? It should be a little bit malefic, evil. Their whole purpose up here is to intimidate, right? I think after this coat, it'll be time for a little bit of a wash of sorts. Let's get this in, and then we'll revisit our primer. Or passes, do they stop producing it? It being the Blackstone box. I don't know. It seemed to be that local places had some and then didn't. Remember, primer should be super thin, not obscure any features, and when it dries, its only purpose should be to give you a little bite for your paint. Tooth, I believe is what they call it. I like my primer with a little tooth, but for what that's worth, no big deal. haven't seen one in stock in a while. Maybe I have to see if it was something that could be ordered in after the stores open up. These tiny little eyes inks. I've been putting it off for too long. Grab some of this darker tone here. We're gonna clean this up. This is just our shadow white that we've been working with. Got a little bit of green to it. I'm gonna use it to shade the rim of this in the back where it will be somewhat visible. Also tidy up a little bit of that fur we got in places. It'll look good. A little too good. Alright. Now what? Now, continue with these skulls a little bit. I use a bigger brush, but one of the benefits is big brush can hold a lot of paint. I like that. Helps out with the blends, smooths things up, and I don't gotta go back for the paint as often. That keeps me engaged. I find the more I often have to go back for paint, the quicker I get bored and want to stop painting. Or I'll move on to another aspect of the model because I don't feel like I'm making as much progress on the area that I should. Just trying to get enough coats on here where we don't look splotchy at all. And sometimes that's just a few thin coats. Sometimes it's one thick coat. Kids don't know about one thick coat. Sometimes that's a ticket. Word passes, well, people got to go and do some sports to fight the heresy belly. Stay healthy. There you go. Stay clean, stay safe. Catch you down the road. Yeah, let's look at a wash here. Bring us down this rope here. Start to add some intrigue to it. Basically dial back this yellow off-white. It looks super yellow next to the white armor though. Just gonna wash back these lower areas, the temples, up in the eyes, down these teeth. Treat it like that. Tired of this lower region here. Lower hemisphere, I guess is what you might call it. Yeah. I'm going to try to get it just a little bit more up in the temples of some of these, because you want, I think one of the things that benefits the design of a skull is this recessed temple. It's something that I struggle with when I'm painting humanoid faces, is that I don't get enough contrast in the temple. And the skulls are so starkly sculpted to build up these ridges. It always reminds me it's there all the time, and if it's not sculpted well on a face or something, you have to paint it in, so to speak. Just a little bit above the brow might go a long way. Certainly wouldn't pull up like the other recesses, but there is a lip here. Okay. Now we can let this dry. Let's go back to our other face here. We have plenty. Inks, do you want me to mix up a custom skin tone here? I already have some yellow out, some red out. I'm gonna get some more red out. Get her head over there for now for safety. Alright, let's get some skin tone out here. So we got the red, get a little bit of white out, because we gotta pink it up. We're gonna need some green. Some orange. There's a fluorescent blue. I know it is here. Where have I hidden the fluorescent blue? Silent Agent Zero. Welcome on in, Silent Agent Zero. How are you today? Yep, we're just about to mix up some skin tones. Here's a secret. Fluorescent blue. Skin tones love a little fluorescent blue in them. Yellow in here, some white, an actual amount of yellow in this thing. Very pink. Maybe I need some actual blue. I don't know. We're very yellow. A little process cyan might help. It's important to have all your primaries so that you can make some brown. You don't want to get too wild with it, but okay. So now we got a little darker tone. Let's just start here with our base coats. We're in focus, I believe. A little bit yellow yet, but I'm gonna bring in some green tones. A little more red in the mix. All right, and then what we can do, once that's laid in there, it's a little bit sloppy at this point, but that's good. We're gonna add a little more white to the mix, which will soften it. Oh, that's a lot more white, hang on. Get rid of some of the excess off my paintbrush. I'll take this tone, we can start introducing a little bit. While we're still wet. Some of these higher peaked regions. Just gradually introduce a highlight. Oh goodness, we've lost our earbud. Forever gone to the warp. I need to get a darker, my Payne's Gray. Here it is. If you've never used a Payne's Gray ink, an acrylic, it's not like an oil color Payne's Gray. It is very, very dark. So we're going to be introducing this sparingly to our mix. The term "a little goes a long way" is a gross understatement. Okay, so now from beneath, again, we're still wet here, I get it. That's kind of by design. We can start introducing these shadows. The rear region of the head. Focus here. Hopefully we'll be able to address this camera a little bit more here very soon. We're also going to take the darker tone, maybe even a little bit more stark. I'm going to pack it into the eyes here. Darkening the eyes is, I think, an important part of this. Inks was having some issues with painting a Catwoman. They couldn't get the eyes right, and like on this guy, he has real sharp features, and I feel like Inks' Catwoman is not sharp featured. Like here, his cheekbones are raised. He has quite a bit going on around him, but it's also an open face. Inks is contending with a mask. That can be quite a lot to try to thread the needle on. You can see where we're at with the skin tone right now. Just adding a little more pallid colors here to the highlights. We'll saturate some color in here soon. Just want to let that darker tone dry around the eyes before we get too much into it. Get a little bit of this onto the cheeks, or the chin. Now we'll get the nose. Bring in a little bit of red to this. So it's going to pink up quite a bit. We're going to introduce this into the nose, the cheeks. I think it's important to add these little liveliness here. Inks, you won't have to worry about this because your mysterious lady of the night does not have her face revealed. Give that a second coat here. It kind of desaturated over that Payne's gray. We want some bold features here. Yeah, her nose is concealed as well. Okay. But yeah, the important thing when you're painting these details around the eyeballs is trying to make sure that they are separated distinctly. I'm actually going to dial back the brush now. We can sink this in. You see that thing I was talking about earlier with the temples, how you want to keep them darker, but they're not always sculpted. You gotta like go back and find the thing and like paint it there even if it's not. So here I'm just adding a circle of shade on either side, back behind the eye. Maybe it will add some dimension on its own. Let's see here. Time to come in here and add some more life to him. So here we are on our second coat of sort of highlight tone. We'll start to reclaim these cheeks a little bit. And with each successive layer, we're kind of becoming more and more specific, a little more deliberate with our brush stroke. And by the time we get to the eyes, things ought to be fairly well defined around them. One of the biggest things that started helping me with the faces was actually, instead of treating it like one big piece, you treat everything as like its own little aspect. So like, yeah, here we're on the top of the head working on that, and then like, but here we have an area around the eyes, here we have the cheekbone, and over here we have the nose, as opposed to like just slapping paint across the whole piece, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's one of those things that maybe doesn't look the best until it starts to make sense. And I think that's one thing that streaming is helping a lot of artists with, is like, you get to realize that the paint job doesn't always look great the whole way through. It starts to look, it looks very much in progress until it doesn't. And for me, when I started, it was hard for me to like the things that I painted because it always looked in progress, and I didn't realize that everybody's stuff looks like that. It's just understanding how to put the effort in and then pushing yourself to get to that point. Just adding some colors here to the mix so that I can change the skin tone a little bit. I'm trying to get a little bit more brown into the mix so that he'll look a little bit more tan. I like to think that a Mongolian general like this would have pretty bronzy skin tone. Brown in the mix. All right, what do we have here? Let's figure out the we want to listen to. We're back. That's not the color I want at all. Alright, well, we're letting him dry just a little bit. I'm going to correct this mix. Wicked Jexter, yo, my man, been sitting here for a while but cleaning coffee from a keyboard for the past half hour. How bad was the spill? That sounds rough, tell you what. That's exactly what we want. The whole cup. Oh no, was it the booty mug? Because that's a good size mug. Yeah, I think I just lost sight of the mixture. Because it's over there not in my proper light. Very soon now, Inks, we will be getting to the eyeballs. Jack says, Tedious Tau. Hey, good morning, Tedious Tau. How are you today? We're working on a little skin tone action. Let's add a little bit of life back here. Looking a little dead. Looking a little bit dead. It's funny that there's colors in your skin tones that if you just leave them desaturated, makes you look awfully less there. You know, while we're on that subject, we can take some of that color. A little bit of blue in it. A little bit of green in it. You know, this is just the same skin tone I'm painting on his face with some blue and green. Take some of this Payne's gray because I'm not worried about blending it. We'll just straight up grab it and smack it on here. When it's still pretty humid, we'll just tack this into these recesses, up into the eyes. Underneath in the mouth. Bleh. Let that dry. Maybe I'll grab some of our furthest recesses color, that darkest tone that we used on the human skin tone, and we'll add it to his highest peaks, where things would be the most alive in somebody that wasn't decapitated. Ugh. Nerd in the building. Well, Nerd's not found, says Wick at Jex. How's life? Good morning to chat. Good morning to you. Leonard Cavalier. Good morning. Thank you for that follow. How are you today? Post away. Anybody has any projects they're working on, post up. And as with all things, a little bit more white. We should be able to. And here, not only am I using my smaller brush like I was before, I am kind of stippling onto the highlighted areas. More highlights. I don't love that they put that scar right across his face. They like force me to give him a scar right there. It's like the sculptor says, here, you will now paint a scar. Like, man, maybe I don't think he got cut right there. Might need a little diffusion here. Bear with me, peoples. Just throw magnets here. Oh, well, no wonder. That might not stay because apparently my little lamp is not magnetic, but it might also soften this just enough that it doesn't wash out his face. Pearls has a link. Let's get a look. Tedious Tau has a link. Let's get a look. I said click the link. Oh, look out. We got something going on here. Let's see. Let me pull up my Instagram on the old phone here. Bro, there's some fun colors you got working there. Tedious Tau. What is Tedious working on? A little 2D action. What are these delicious scones we have going? Goodness. We need some of those scones, Tedious. Alright, Pearl. Oh. There we are. I like the greens a lot. Flags, good skin tones, fun metals. Fun haircut. There it is. I think that's going to be an interesting thing for us all to navigate as we go through these quarantines, is going to be the hairdos. Everybody working on fun stuff. I need to get some of these fun models. Is a snake lady? What's that? Snake archer? Sweet. Tedious working on cool stuff. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Jax, I hope your keyboard's alright. Just because we're working with brighter and brighter tones, we were starting to lose some of the face was getting washed out with each successive highlight. But now, in a way, hopefully we can keep that. Gonna be sticky later. You rocking that creamer? Oh, that'll do it. Take a little side mix here. We're gonna grab some of this tone. Mix up quite a bit of red with it. So on top of this tone, you can see on my finger, that's not enough of a transition. We got more red. Let's see what a transition looks like now. Fairly noticeable, possibly. I want to get some pinkiness into these features because he's looking a little, I don't know, not right. He's looking a little bit not correct. So we're introducing some more pink to this in these areas, along the nose, across the cheeks. I'm pushing it down to the shadows a very little bit. I think that might be the thing that's also missing. Not only are we missing the red across the face here in this swatch, but we're missing little bits of purple in the shadows. And so red and blue make purple, so we're going to get a little bit of blue into our mix here. Here's our shadow color. I'm going to put it right down this crease of my finger. And we're definitely darker, but we don't have enough purple, so more blue it is. Try again. A little bit darker foundation look there, hopefully. Tia says, is what I'm painting not there the first image? The 2D was. I like that piece. Is it? You're gonna do the whole dragon? Good luck on this one. Poor Jax. Alright, and so now we can start to reclaim these shadows. Thank you all for sharing your work with me. If anybody else is working on anything fun, do not hesitate. We are super link friendly when it comes to hobby related things. I'm interested in all the things. I'll lose focus and then we'll be done for the day. Get distracted too easily. I've been trying to answer one of Inks' questions here for the last, I don't know, a little while. I'm still trying to get the face to a point where I can demonstrate the eyeballs. Just takes a little bit to get all these aspects together. I know we don't have to refine the skin to such a degree, but it has to be at least close enough that we can, that it makes sense, you know. Okay. And then let's get this. Oh. Just gonna make sure I have a good point on my brush, spinning it on my finger. And we're gonna try and hit this sculpted scar here. Tedious says, yeah, color by number. We are link friendly. Is the link friendly? If the link is friendly, there it is. But not too friendly. You know what I'm saying? Keep that in the Discord. Alright, try to get this scar. This thing runs the whole way down. Oh boy, homie got hit hard. Oh no. Alright. Hopefully that's reading. Oh, thank you, Inks. It'll be more amazing once I can get to the eyeballs here and we can make some sense. It looks like he got a bolt in his head here holding his face together these days. Good thing he was great at generalship and falconry, because his modeling days are over. Poor guy. Biff Ooze. Good morning. Hi. Says hi, Nomadic. And I say, well, hello back at you. Let's take these red tones and introduce one more coat here. Tedious says, I'm just painting all the big bits, each corner. I'm now doing the other corners, I think. Yeah, you got to work your way through there in a meaningful way. I feel that. Biffus says, took me a while to understand those were pliers, not the guy's shoulders. The little alligator here. That's right. So this time through, I'm going to lay down a little bit more of this red. And then we're going to be adding successive amounts of white to this particular mixture. Maybe we'll add a little bit more of this up here. He's looking a little pallid up there. Okay. We don't want him to look too rosy-faced, but we need a little bit of that. So we're going to get a little bit of this white, add it to the mix. Enough to at least change the color. Come on now. In this way we can keep some of that beautiful red tone, liveliness, but also get some of these highlights rocking. And then we're gonna get in here and do these eyes. Hit the bridge of this nose. Start to build up this highlight up here. The top of his dome ought to be pretty bright too. Right up here. I think it's a fair amount of contrast for something so freaking tiny. Look at this thing. Ugh. Alright, let's clean this up. Oh, we got over 60. Good morning and happy Thursday back at you. How are you holding up? We got Nerd404 coming in asking how's life. Hexneck, good morning. Hex, how are you? We're painting his dome. I think we've kind of hit the point where I can come back through. He's got a little knot in his hair. Should we paint that a color, or should that just be his hair? Today would have been a good day to wear my glasses, I think. Bring the rest of these little pieces into focus here. Number 60 says, got my magnifying glasses yesterday. Now the old man can see what he's painting. With the wife home every day. She's a teacher. I'm going nuts. Oh my. Hexneck says, I'm more than awesome. I just stopped playing Lego with my little ones, and I almost did an awesome, in my opinion, spider. Well, there you go. Legos are wonderful. They're a pretty cool company, for sure. Get this painted up. Over these. Anybody know what these little probes are that go in the back of the little Space Marine head connectors? They help control the suit or something? Like, what is that? Don't touch the head. Don't do it. Gentle touches. Nope. That was a bad touch. Try to clean that up. Okay. Tedious says, be right back. Stripping bed. Oh, okay. I suppose that makes sense now. Give me a second to piece that all together. Let's see here. Sorry, this little clamp I have on is a little bit long to manipulate some directions, so bear with me. I just need to see, does he have... No, that's just all his chin. Alright. We have to fix a bit of his chin region. I'm not happy with that highlight. That thing's bugging the mess out of me. But the rest of it's looking pretty good. Ink says Lego is also the most expensive hobby. Legos are impossible, like shockingly expensive. Did you enjoy the Lego Batman movies, Inks? Jack says, says absolutely. Obeliskpalooza? Is that how you can pronounce that? Correct me. Correct me where I'm wrong. Good morning. How are you? Welcome on in. We're working on this thing. He's tiny. He's very tiny. Hexneck says, I did enjoy it, but we prefer Lego Story 1 and 2. There you go. I like the Lego movies. They're just feel good. I know Inks is big into the Batman stuff. Ink says at Nomadic, yes, the help with the suit, and when he needs to live, also the bolt on the front is the metal for every century he has lived as a metal. Oh wow! Up to help with the suit and what he needs to live. Also, that bolt on the front, this bolt, is a medal for every century he has lived. So each one of these, so he's got 4 bolts. Hex says, nonetheless, we play free mode with the children, building whatever we want. I think that's the way to do it. Hexneck says, Biffus says, right now I'm building the 7,592 piece Lego Millennium Falcon. Oh, Lord have mercy. TD Stel says, I want the Millennium set. I feel like that's a need right there. Oh, the bolt on his head. Oh, so he has 2 bolts. Is the scar a bolt? Did they do that to themselves and it's not like a battle damage? Like that's a point of pride for him? Nerd says, I have that model in the attic along with half a dozen USC sets. Until my kids are old enough not to pull them off the shelves, they will stay up there. Where it's safe. Let's see what we can't do with these eyebrows. I'm gonna go cross-eyed looking at this thing. Oh boy. Okay. Fix up this little Fu Manchu here. Alright. What do we think? We have a face? A face good enough to start painting on. I'm gonna take some of this purple actually. I'm gonna glaze it back a bit. Let's see how light we can get this. Let's see about our consistency. So I'm gonna take some of this, get it, wipe most of it out so we got a little bit of control here. I'm just gonna pack this up underneath here. Add a little bit more color to these shadows. Because again, purple's got a lot of red in it. Adds liveliness to the shadows. We don't look dead in the shadows. We just want him to look contrasted so he's got some shadiness. Like when we worked on, when we worked on this gent, we were doing the skin tones because he's a vampire. We didn't mind him looking dead in the shadows because he is dead. Well, mostly. He's mostly dead. So in his shadows, there's allowed to be a lot more blue and a lot less purple. So as we work more towards those blue-green shades, he looks more dead. And when we work more towards those pink and white and brighter highlights, he looks more, well, more alive. And so it was kind of like, let's have him be more life here and more unlife over here. Spooky. Now he should be scary, but not super spooky. I think that's one of the things that they talk about when you look at like different styles of painting faces, whether it be male or female. Not to say that a female has to have sharp or soft features. I think that has to do with their body type. Like Sorcia here is very sharply featured, but I still painted her face differently than I would have a male face of this type, because when you look at the way that her face is set, they're just a little bit different. And so for like a female, we're not going to drag stark features into these sides unless we want her to read as a little more evil, where you can get away with that with a guy. You can add those sharper features without, if he's sculpted that way, without making him look evil. A female will look like Maleficent really quickly when you drag something like that in there so starkly. So there's like a little science behind that and way it reads. We got Pipoy says, can you tell me what miniature handle you use? I use on the front from Games Workshop, but I'm looking for one that has a bow, think made from metal wire on top. Oh, so this is from Germany. This is a Wrathcore. If you can see Wrathcore. Stephen Rath designed this. You can buy them from pkpro.de. Give them a check. Back back to this impossibly tiny face here. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do is in the shadows here we've worked this purple, and in the highlights we have a white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that purpley tone and we're going to add some white to it. We're going to get a nice little grayish mixture. Thank you, Pip-Boy. Because I do not want to use pure white on an eyeball. Things go poorly when you do that. So what you want to consider is not doing that. So here we have this kind of pinky tone. I'm going to get a little bit of, I don't know, like not black, but here I have a coal black. It's like a deep sea green. I'm going to mix some of this into it. So along with that purple and the white, what we're going to end up with is like a desaturated purpley pinky gray. Let's just see what we have here. That needs a little bit more red, but that's the idea. My palette's out here without good light, and sometimes that gets lost. Right, we're way off. A lot more purple. Sometimes when your mixture's off like that, it's the right thing to do is take a scoop of your mixture and start a second pile to see how things are turning out. And now we have a nice desaturated purple. Okay, so we're going to use that. The Evil Honk. Well, hi. Hello, and good morning. We're painting a teeny tiny little face here. So let's get in there with this desaturated business. Oh, yeah. You thought I felt like I needed my glasses on earlier. Just wait till now. I'm gonna clean up my brush and just assume that I have been sloppy, and we'll just tidy it up. Can I get a huggo? Inks might have a hug for you. I don't know if I got a hug for you. Virtual love. How you doing? Gonna just whip that into that recess. And one thing that I've found works very well for me, so you never want to try to paint the eye completely from one direction. You want to paint like halfway and then halfway. That's my move. So over here, we're going to reach the tip down into this recess and paint out. And from this side, we're going to come to the X outside of it and paint it in. Okay. Just going to check. Pretty well saturated. Huggo is in the mail. There you go, Tedious. Gives the doggo. Gives Dogo instead. Glenn Wolf, how are you this morning? I don't know if you were here earlier, but you may have missed Jexter spilled a cup of coffee into his keyboard. What color should the eyes be, Inks? Do you have a preference? What color are Catwoman's eyes going to be? You do the same thing. Exhausted, want to go back to bed. Why don't you do it? Get some rest if you can. Otherwise, if you got to be up, sorry. Dark red eyes. Let's pick a color that humans are. Jex says go to sleep. Oddly enough, Jex, the way I read it is, you'll go to sleep. I'll put you to sleep. These cats wanted to play across my bed. Go away, cats. One thing I've learned over the years is that one does not simply interrupt kitty cat playtime. While we're waiting on that eye decision. Blue ink says, okay. Well, I just grabbed some of the skin tone, so let me use up what I've got on my brush, and then we'll start with the blue. We can talk about, while I'm finishing this up, is that when it comes to eyes, the thing you want to do for sure is use the brightest color you have for the color of the eyes. So if you're going to do a green, you're going to do a blue, you really want to use a bright one. And so I think I have this nice bright turquoise, this light turquoise here. I'm going to put it down on the palette. I'm also going to add a little drop of ink to it just because I don't have a brighter blue. So we have this cerulean blue, which is super vibrant but also super saturated. Just going to put a little drop of that in there. These are so close in tone, I don't know if it's even going to shift anything, but we'll see. This is what we've ended up with. A nice, bright, baby kind of blue. And now, let me grab... Maybe I can use the size of this airbrush. So what we did earlier, just to show on a greater scale, was, let's just say we have an eyeball, right? This might be a little bit easier to read. Everybody can have a laugh at my 2D skills here. And so the reason why we painted it this desaturated red is because by the time we get done with this whole eye, you're not going to have much actual white to look at. Most of this is going to be just the ducts on the either side of the eye. So we paint it like this. Just filling it in here. Now, the hardest thing for you, Inks, is going to be getting the eyes to face the same direction. But this reads pretty well. And so, like when we look at Sorsha here, how things are kind of facing. Oh, we got brush for hire. Man, the detail on that airbrush is so real. Yeah, I got a question about painting eyeballs. And so what we're going to do, because again, we're using the most vibrant color for the color that we're going to use that we have. In this case, we got this nice bright turquoise color. And what we're going to do here in the middle, not have too much paint on our brush here. I've just grabbed a very little bit, and I'm going to take that excess off, and I'm not going to paint the eye at one point. We're going to come from the top and it's not going to be super legible just yet. That's okay. We would rather have not enough paint on our brush than have way too much, especially on a piece that you've already done so much work on. And just continue to shape it from the top down. That's how I do it, at least. Motor City Ray, good morning. Welcome on in. Well, hello. We're just answering a question on how to paint an eyeball. And then you can come back through and dot the thing. That's an eyeball. And some people like to go through and do all the little striations and everything like that. And what I'm about to do next, you don't have to do. For sure, you can skip this. But you can dot them. And that's the basic premise for an eyeball. The problem is that the smaller they get, the more things you have to remove. So the idea of me doing this or demonstrating this here is a virtual impossibility. I mean, that eyeball is roughly the size of his freaking head. But the idea is there. And some people will take those they'll do little striations in the iris around the pupil, and like that's fine, but it doesn't need to happen. And then the further away you get, the better yet it even reads. But freshly cleaned airbrush right there. Nice surface for painting an eye. And so let's translate that into this scale, where we've painted that pallid color in there, and now we're just going to try to land a dot like threading a needle at 50 paces. Just little dots in there. That's all it's going to be. What does this say? Fight Sim 4A1. Well, thank you for that follow. Welcome on in. Excuse me. I've consumed too much paint this morning, I think. Yeah, kind of like this, the way the skin tone's showing up right now. I'm gonna take some of these shadow tones and maybe smooth them out a little bit, huh? Feather these transitions a little bit, because now, as opposed to trying to get them to the point where we can do a skin tone demonstration, I think we got to get him to a point where he can actually go into the model. Let's see what kind of color we're dealing with here. It's got a little too much yellow for my flavor. Try again. Well, I think that was just a little loaded up on the brush. Let's see. If it's still got that much yellow. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Let's see. There we go. That's that liveliness we're after. Just trying to get that nice shine up at the top of the head. Hopefully that's reading through. But it's hard. It's hard at this scale to get too much to come across. Especially without it losing all meaning. So yeah, I think truthfully that may have to be where we stop with this. You can, anybody can, certainly me, fuss with things like this for hours. I just don't think that's in the cards for this particular model. Sorry, mostly lurking today because work keeps being busy. Well, that's not a bad thing, nerd. Sometimes that'll make the day go by. It is 7:23, so we're going to be looking for a raid target here in the next 10 minutes or so. This will be our final highlight. I'll tell you what, I want to work his little mustachios in a way for that. I usually like to do a highlight right in here below the nose, but there's no real opportunity for that here. CG Minipenny says, morning, Nomadic in chat. Morning, Motor City Ray. Well, good morning back at you. Brush says, tedious towel, doing good, just painting and trying to get stuff done. That's all any of us can do, really. Let's see how he looks in his little house here. Get in there. Looks like he belongs right there. I'll tell you what. Boy, howdy. Okay. This way. I know that you fit there. That moment when you dry fit him and then he wants to be a turd. How do we like his head? Maybe a little bit more. No, that's a broken neck. Yeah, that's the way. That's good right there. We'll let that dry. I think he's starting to look like a real boy. Okay. I'm going to cap this. And we're going to start tidying up these adornments on his armor. Okay. Oh boy. So much tidying up to be done down here. Here we're just going to lay down one coat and be done. Wait a second one here after this has had an opportunity to dry. But also, trying to drag these tiny, tiny lines. That was not ideal. I'm gonna let that dry. Fix that up. Ashycraft, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome on in. You've caught us very much at the tail end of this thing. How are you this morning? I don't think I used red around that though. What did I use to? I think it was brown. Use my head to think here. There's the tone that we used. Might add a little metallic effect to this, I don't know yet. Just along the trim here to break up the monotony of everything that we have going on. I think these little pieces are going to be the kind of thing that you have to just back and forth a little bit. For sure. I think that's for sure what's going to happen there. Let's at least get these last couple details down before we call it a raid. Oh yeah, let's just get this everywhere. I thought to myself, oh, I really want to have to redo all this white that got airbrushed so nicely. Why not? Why not? Such a weird thing how white wants to misbehave sometimes. I'm trying to work with it for sure. Starting to look like a completed model almost. Tidy up that dark line. That thing's been bugging me. Let's tidy up this one while we're at it. Much cleaner, much better. Okay. Well, there we have it for today. Oh, you know what? Perhaps while we're at it, a little more of this yellowish color in here. Well, I still have it on my palette. If we're going to detail on a live face, why not detail out a dead one? Super spooky, I know, but Artemis here had to claim some heads apparently. This across this face here. It's the kind of things that happen at the end of this stream. I just don't want to stop painting and go to work. I want to keep on going here. All right. So today we worked on the face. We've begun to sketch in the volumes on the skulls. Cloak is still looking pretty darn good. This shoulder pad is, I think, finally done. So that's been nice. Oh, of course not. And this is the thing you get tied up in. Just that continual improvement. Because nothing's ever done. Nothing's ever completed. It's just, this is where we stopped. Okay. Lavrel, thank you so much for that follow. We're just getting ready to wrap up for the day. So glad you stopped in and made that corgi wiggle. Whoever wins this, know that I painted each little knot on this rope. Okay, every little fiber. Let's find us a raid target. Who all is online at this hour? Not a ton of people online. Let's go see Brush for Hire. Resist Stitch is gifting out some. Look out! What is this? Motor City Race says stay for a while. Genuine Vision with subscription from Resist Stitch, Tedious Tau, Hexneck, Taminu, Chaos Engine. Wow, thank you so much. Gregersman in the building. Ray, did my hype command not work? That's rough. I gotta fix that hype command. Resist Stitch, thank you so much. How are you all doing out there today? Celebrating me. Feels like it's my birthday all over again. Well, I'm painting a little bit of this face while we hang out for all these to come through. This is wonderful. All of you that just got those wonderful subscriptions from Resist Stitch, you should know that you are now entered into the drawing to win this guy. So he could come home to you. Clan Wolf with a gifted sub to Resist Stitch. Too many sprues kicking that. Look at that. Yes, Motor City Ray, we will fix the hype command. I thought I had one set up, but apparently not. But yes. What color am I after? Try to clean this up. It's so wonderful. Everybody sharing the subs and the wealth. Thank you so much, everybody. Getting closer and closer to the goal, which will unlock an additional hype command, emote for everybody. Hopefully, we can hit that goal, but we'll see. I think it'll naturally come with progression, but with love and support like that, probably come a little bit sooner. But yeah, we have got to wrap this up, or I'm going to be late to work, and that's no good at all. Okay, hey, what is this? I'm getting attacked. See, you delay my departure, and we have a hungry cat. Little bro. Oh, thank you, Too Many Sprues. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Hello, Jenny. Jenny85. Good morning. Yeah, wish I could hang out longer, but we got to start this raid and get this little baby girl some breakfast. Everybody, you want to say hi? Hi, little one. Hope everybody has a good morning, good Thursday. It's almost Friday. And then what day is it, Ray? The Tree Lady. Continuing the details here. Getting that contrast where it needs to be, just sketched into place, and then we'll build the highlights more. I found a new process for the talons, and we're going to be working more and more this beautiful contrast. Inks with the sub to Too Many Sprues. Hype train incoming. Oh no. Oh no. I cancel this. I've never had one of these. Uh-oh. Never had a hype train happen in here, but that's all right. So yeah, we got talons coming in. We're gonna try to match that contrast the whole way through, and I think what are we at here? A little too good of this contact. Level 3 already. What? Ray just gifted 10 subscriptions. Oh, good Lord. Hype train, oh geez. But yeah, I think she's going to start reading really well once we set her in. And she'll be getting a similar kind of contrast, but it's not going to be steel. It's going to be a lot softer on her. So we're going to treat her separate kind of purple to the Talons. Pearls for Bias got a gift. We got Aquarium, Sudsy Sutherland, Pearls, Pax at Choreo, Mutu, that's a good name for Bias, Basil 52, Charton, Technocat, Steel Paw Paints. Look at all that. This thing's cracking along here. Resisted. Yeah, I don't have the hype command. This is terrible. We're going to have a hype train and no hype emote working today. I really like the way the purple plays off the gold on this. Hexneck says, oh no, your idea on her body is a lot better than mine. Too many sprues. Motor City Ray coming in with the big bits. Well, this is everything. So hyped to see Robin painted inks. We're going to work on Robin soon. I wanted to take a break from my personal projects to get the subscription giveaway piece done. I know we didn't get a chance to get the model we intended to paint. Okay, little girl, I won't put you down. You're good. To get the model we wanted to paint, that Harlequin, before everything shut down. But so I had this white scar sitting, and I figured we'd do it. Ray with the 3,000 biddy cheer. Because this poor guy isn't getting to work. No, we're not, little girl. We hit all 5 levels. This is huge. Did you just flick her head across the screen? I did not flick her head across the screen. It is right here. It is right here. Oh, also, I have big plans for how we're going to do her hairdo. She might put me in an early grave, but I am super excited to detail this all out. We're going to do something special up here in their tree. Little girl cat. No. The hype train's running. We cannot play. Yeah. This is... Everyone do your custom hypes. Super excited to watch it detail it all out. I am too, Ray. So much of this was a bit of an experiment. Like I laid in the honeycomb because I knew what that was going to look like, and but the purple, I didn't know. Like we had that idea, and we have all seen those that skin tone that the druids have, those night elves, but to execute's another thing. And so it's been nice to practice and learn a little bit and see the different ways you can layer things up. And I think we have good contrast here now. Like the hips and the belly are popping where we want them. And then obviously it's real easy to just make everything bright up top. But I also wanted to figure out what the difference would be between these stark talons up here and in the flesh, because I want her to be distinctly different but still play off of this gold. Remember, it's a centerpiece, so no pressure. She's gonna be popping. We're gonna for sure get that happening. And then we also have all these beautiful swarms that are gonna come off here, those insect swarms. So I've not forgotten that. Yeah, we got nice contrast here. One thing that I think is important to always remember with these pieces that are going to be gamed with, some people say things like, oh, tabletop standard, display standard. The thing with a display piece is that you know that the light's always going to be perfect. But with an army, your color selection needs to differ because it's going to be on top of a table that probably doesn't have the best lighting above it. And so you want them to grab attention even at a distance. Ray says it sets the tone to my fresh army and a shot at the good guys. Hype train received. Everybody enjoy your emotes. Cuckoo ka-choo. Cow chow. Look at that. Where they at? That's awesome. 3 new emotes, 5 new emotes for the supporters. That's awesome. Thank you all so much for your generosity and your participation. And we're gonna probably hit our goal. We got Alistair. Thank you so much for the follow, making that corgi wiggle here at the end of the train. Motor City Ray's gonna have that conductor badge for a little bit now. Coming in. But it is now 20 minutes past when we were going to get out of here. You guys have kept me quite a while. Hi, little girl. All right. Oh, Ray's got the Motor City love. That's a great one, Ray. All right, little girl, we got to scoot in a little bit. Careful. Over 60 says, lost my sound, heading out, working on KS Beastman. All right, over 60, we're out of here too. Ray's spreading that money. Look at that emote, straight cash. Let's see, yeah. All right, we got the raid finally in progress here to go visit Brush for Hire, an incredible artist, a cool person. Great personality. Also, local. Not super local, but definitely in my area of the state. Pat Draws, good morning. We're on the way out. Stick with us. We're going to go see Brush for Hire. Awesome person. Good artist. Heck of a personality. Everybody. Inks. Clam Wolf. Motor City Ray. We've had so many follows today. So many gifted subs today. The bits. It's been a wonderful thing seeing this thing come together. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be pushing a better quality camera, some YouTube content. I got a lot of stuff in the pipe, and we're also going to get more progress on this particular piece very, very soon. We're also wrapping up. I can't show Clam Wolf's in here. We can't show this just yet. I've got a couple bits of progress made on a piece for Clam Wolf, and we're gonna continue with that as well. So let's go see Brush for Hire, and everybody again overwhelming the love and support, and we'll be back at it tomorrow morning. So 9, 8. All right, I'm gonna push it now. Everybody spam the emotes, let them know where you came from, and we'll catch you